Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the welcome if this is your first time to the Alien versus Predator Galaxy YouTube channel. I'm site co-administrator and community dude, Corporal Hicks, aka Aaron Percival in the real world.
I don't even know what my job title is at the site, but I'm Adam Zeller, aka Ridgetop on the forum.
Global administrator, podcast co-host,
I'm not an
editorial.
administrator. I'm a global moderator. You're the administrator.
Did I say global admin?
Yeah.
Global moderator.
I should be an admin by now, but
do some more editing, and then we'll talk about it. In terms of like the podcast editing.
Anyway, let's move on.
Because we're all about Aaron giving each other stick on these things now, aren't we? Anyway, we're back for another motion tracker video, and obviously we talk about the latest stuff on these videos, and we are going to be talking about the giant art dump that has been taking place over June for Red Harvest, aka Alien 5, aka Alien Camp, whatever you want to call it, Alien 3.2. And
the alien that got away.
Does your heart still ache?
Yeah.
I still feel like it was a bit of a dodge bullet, but it's interesting. If you listen to our podcast, if you watch any of our other videos or read any of our stuff, you know I love the movie archaeology aspect of things like this, of the fandom, of digging in and finding out the what could have beens and stuff like that. So even though I might not necessarily been too keen on Red Harvest, I do love stuff like this. I love to see what we could have had, and thanks to Geoffroy Thoorens. Is that right? Yeah, Geoffroy Thoorens. I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry.
It might be pronounced Jeffrey. It could just be a different way of spelling, but I don't know.
I knew an American who spelled it that way, who said it Jeffrey.
Names again, right?
Derail ourselves. This is two videos in a second video in a row. But yeah, so Geoff has thrown out an absolute ton of concept art that they did for Red Harvest. So we've already done one video covering, I think, like the first 5 or 6 pieces that have come out, but a bunch have come out since that we haven't had the chance to talk about yet. So we're just going to have a natter about some of the things that we've seen and some of the details we've been able to glimpse from them, because we did get a look. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it.
And I think when artists share stuff like this, like NDAs typically are not indefinite. They have a set period of time because artists need to get future work and they have to show off the work they've done to get future work. And so I think we may just be seeing some of these NDAs expiring, and that's why we're starting to see more of this artwork.
Mm-hmm. So this is actually a bunch of articles on the website. There's probably been about 3 or 4 since the initial ones that were discussed, but it can all be found in our gallery section in the Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 concept art. So we are starting, I believe, with the Montero.
A space elevator, or the station that the space elevator leads to, perhaps.
And you can see the little tubey, the elevator itself down there. And we know that Blomkamp had tweeted about how the film had involved a space elevator as well. So I think that's a pretty likely bet on this one. Nothing massively remarkable. I mean, it's a fantastically rendered piece, but I mean, in terms of design, it's probably nothing too much to say about this one, I don't think.
Yeah, it's smaller station than we're used to seeing in Alien for this type of thing, but if it's just meant to be an elevator and maybe a discrete one at that.
It's interesting because I think, was it Fast Track to Heaven had a space elevator in it as well?
That was on Europa, I believe. Yeah.
Which was a Dark Horse novella comic. And
the RPG as well.
Yes,
expansion.
In not Chariots of the Gods, that was the first
Destroyer
one.
of Worlds.
Destroyer of Worlds. And even further back, Tim Leben, who wrote Out of the Shadows and the Rage War, he actually pitched a space elevator story to DH Press when they were doing theirs. So Lots of space elevators.
Interesting how it's called the Montero, because that name appeared in the RPG, did it not?
I believe that was our ship in the first one in Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah.
So on to the next piece is an out of order. We'll start here. I think is Ripley getting suited up in a fire suit.
Yeah.
Climbing through a tube, getting some deleted scenes from Aliens vibe here of
Bishop crawl.
Bishop and no, Bishop crawled in the deleted scene of him encountering an alien, and then she's in a fire.
An awesome shot.
That,
as you would maybe if you put on a fire suit, expect to be in a fire.
yeah,
but that is a cool looking shot.
And again, fantastically rendered. Geoff is fantastic art throughout. Their style is brilliant. I love it.
Agreed.
Though I do kind of wonder on the context of that one, because do we see any? I don't think we see anything else on fire in any of the other art. No, so no real context for that one, unfortunately. This is Anchor.
Offshore facility.
But then again, it also has a... No, that's not going to be big enough to be the bottom of the space elevator, is it?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's in another one of the images we're going to look at, there's a city, which also looks like that might be the space elevator.
See, that's what I'd assumed as well, yeah.
But that kind of looks bigger, so I don't know. Maybe there's multiple space elevators. But this is cool. I mean, I just have to wonder if this is an offshore platform or if it leads to a facility under the water.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do like my underground bases, but I also like my underwater bases. Those are cool too. So,
and I think it's interesting because we do see some lab stuff, and we do see what appears to be suiting up for a heist or a raid or something.
Yeah.
And I think we would possibly be seeing this being the location of the lab, whoever owns it, whether it's Wayland-Yutani. I think it's supposed to be. Who knows? It's probably Wayland-Yutani. So with this being their isolated base, I do like that they actually had the thought to put it out in the middle of the ocean and avoid a giant outbreak. You know, avoid the outbreak that Bionational caused in the original comics, and have it in the ocean. And next we have the
city
that Adam mentioned.
And this is cool to see.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we really haven't seen that many cities in the Alien franchise outside of, like the
window in Covenant, really.
Yeah, the window in Covenant, and that was a deleted scene too, I think. But the comics we have a little bit, Dust to Dust. The RPG, we catch a glimpse of it with some of the artwork, and it looks very Blade Runner-esque, and this kind of does as well. So it is cool to see. Like, I like seeing these futuristic sci-fi cities, especially in the world of Alien, and having the distinctions of that placed on them is something I'd like to see more of in the future. And there was a lot of city art as well that was ultimately never used for Colonial Marines. The fantastic city art with that one. Some
slum stuff in there, and I think there was some Phobos stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it. It is very neon, and this is something that's come up recently in talking about some of the Syl and Lil stuff and Lee stuff. You bring that Giga association to Alien, where his other stuff is like, yeah, that'll work. And I think people kind of do the same with Scott. Blade Runner into Alien, yes, this will work. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not too Blade Runner-y,
No, yeah, and it shouldn't be either, I don't think. But you can take some nods and cues from Blade Runner, some design aesthetics for sure. The massive building in the middle, I'm curious about, because I was thinking, maybe that's the space elevator. But this structure we actually saw in a previous piece of concept art quite a bit earlier, just at a very looking up at it angle, and we didn't see the city itself. Yeah, right there. I believe that's the same building.
And just it's called Wayland-Yutani Tower.
Tower. Okay, so then it is a tower. It's not the space elevator.
Well, it might be. I mean, that looks like the bottom of a
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Like an elevator.
But then it does have
car.
some design cues from Blade Runner. Then you have the massive Wayland Tower, just like you have the big Wallace building in 2049. But I guess,
Well, and the pyramid in the original.
yeah, even the comics though, like was it Defiance or Resistance that had the big Wayland Tower?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And oh god, it's the Ajax suit again.
Yeah. Ready to fight a 4-armed Praetorian or the Queen? I don't know.
You would assume Queen from the amount of arms, but they're longer than.
Yeah.
But then so much of what we've seen of earlier concept pieces as well, as part of the reason I wasn't too keen on it was a lot of Jurassic Park by genetic mutation, genetic engineering kind of stuff. So who knows? Who knows for this one? But I'm still not sure on this concept,
Yeah, it is kind of an iffy one, but maybe it could have been pulled off. It's kind of like, some of the stuff we saw into Cridbus. Like, we didn't think that would work, and it did. So
speak for yourself. I've always wanted Lee in my Alien, but I don't know. I'd be curious to see more of it, and I'd have been curious to see a practical realization of it as well, just to see how it looked. But yeah, this one's one I'm not sold on yet, but very curious about. Oh, and so I think we know what our android's name was. It is Jax, and somebody called Johnson is absolutely not friends with him, apparently. And I think this leads on to the next one, because gland removal. But then again, I think that's supposed to be Hicks, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's got the eye patch.
But that looks to be some sort of synthetic.
Maybe it's a different synth. I don't know.
What gland?
What was interesting is I heard that the synth Jax was supposed to be Hugh Jackman, which you kind of get that sense if you go to another image, Aaron. You'll know the one I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Because I guess Chappie was.
That doesn't look like Hugh Jackman at all.
A little bit, it kind of does. I mean, if you shaved his head off, yeah, it might look like that.
I don't see that in the slightest.
I see it a little bit. Let us know if I'm the only one who notices this. But I read that this is supposed to be Hugh Jackman because Blomkamp was working on Chappie when he was discussing this project with Sigourney Weaver, and Hugh Jackman was also on that, so maybe he wanted to involve him as well.
Would you have wanted Hugh Jackman in your Alien?
As an android? Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm not sure. So, I mean, this
very contemporary looking private jet, but it has a VTOL function, which is interesting.
I assume this is the anchor base.
Yeah, maybe landing out there.
Yeah.
But this kind of goes to what I was saying in our last motion tracker about the barn on a moon, right? Like maybe there's some designs that are just timeless and people like their private jet looking private jets.
Yeah, maybe it's some. I think a common thing in sci-fi to ground it a bit in the day is to have a character who's got a fascination with the past, aka the current day. So I can quite easily see this being some Wayland-Yutani executive who's obsessed with 20th or 21st century aesthetic.
That's something Blomkamp likes to do himself too. He really likes futuristic, like retrofits of older stuff, I've noticed. Like in Elysium, you had the old AK-47 with all these crazy futuristic attachments on it.
Mm-hmm. But nothing too much to say.
Here we have some sort of
gammy-looking eggs from the looks of it. I assume that's Hicks. No. Is that Jax? I can't really tell who that's supposed to be.
Somebody's holding somebody up.
I assume that's supposed to be Ripley.
Collecting a sample or something.
Or
getting ready to blow it up.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that it's just in the middle of a room.
Yeah.
There's not much going off here in terms of security, I suppose. But they do look gammy, so I wonder if something's
being altered there.
Yeah, whether it's the bioengineering or whether they're trying to engineer some sort of biological weapon against them, perhaps, maybe.
Hmm.
Who knows? And here we have Jax arming the Comanche with some callbacks to Spunkmeyer from Aliens.
Yeah, definitely evokes that scene. The Comanche, though, that name makes me think: is this a new kind of dropship we would have seen?
I think it's this thing.
Oh, the bigger dropship then.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because the next pictures after that are Ripley arms up in dropship. So this followed
Yeah.
some of the ordering on his website, on
Okay.
Geoffroy's website. So I assume that was all part of the same sequence
Now we
with
have.
Hicks and
Yeah.
Ripley.
I assume here they're probably planning their incursion that we see in some of the earliest concept art we saw, where Ripley had a explosive device strapped to herself and Hicks was with her, as it looked like they were entering a facility. So maybe here they're coming up with that plan to infiltrate.
And Ripley arms up in the dropships.
I love this shot here. That's great.
The likeness on Sigourney and Michael are fantastic as well.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I mean, we knew the pulse rifles were going to be back. We saw that in some of the early prop photos as well, but I don't think we'd ever seen. I don't think we ever saw any indication of the smart gun returning.
I can't remember, honestly.
So that would have been nice to have seen. That'd have hit some spots. And I think this sequence is the most interesting. I think this is nearly the last run. So we have another character called Miller here, who gets pinned under a door. And a little thing that the artwork called a Trematode.
It's sniffing.
And it's cutting. And then facehuggers birthing. So apparently you get infected by a Trematode and you give birth to facehuggers now.
Maybe, I don't know.
So that's, again, seems to be playing into all the genetic manipulation and experimentation stuff that I feel's a little played out at this point.
I do wonder if maybe some of this stuff was exploratory in the concept art and they were kind of developing a tighter focus, and maybe we wouldn't have seen all this wild stuff.
It's interesting as well because that Trematode is actually reminiscent of another piece of artwork that was done by a different artist who went by the alias of Please Look at Me, Neil Blomkamp, and his real name was Doug Williams. And he'd done this thing here. Obviously take on the Hammerpede and stuff from Prometheus, but a different taste, a different take on the thing, and the Trematode looks a lot like it. So I do have to wonder if perhaps Doug did end up getting on the show. But yeah, I think that seems to be the most straightforward and concrete and interesting kind of look. And Hicks gets attacked by one and has a funky bio-looking weapon.
Yeah, that's weird. Looks like a spine or something.
It does. So I wonder what the story is there. But then again, I mean, it's got to involve some space jockey stuff because we see the hanged space jockey in some of the earlier concept pieces. The suit has to be some sort of space jockey-ish kind of thing. So the Ajax SATAC suit, I can never remember what it's called. The Alien Queen suit. So I kind of feel like perhaps Hicks got some weaponry from there. And
now it's trying to burrow its way into Hicks's neck.
I hope Hicks doesn't die like this.
Well, you see, there's kind of a white substance that was also on the entry point of its other victim. So I wonder if that's like a liquid it uses to try and, I don't know, soften the skin so it can slither in there or something.
Some kind of acidic thing. But then again, with the big spiky pointy things on the end of it, it kind of makes you think it probably have an easier time getting in. Unless it's kind. Maybe it's a numbing agent so you don't feel it. And we have another Trematode piece here.
Yeah.
Some. See, that's in front of an egg as well.
It's not being kind there.
What's going off here? Neil, please tell us, man. What's happening?
And this is why I hope if they're not going to make this, which there's no chance they're going to make it now, just give us a book. Show us everything. Like that would sell. A book like that would sell.
And to end it,
give us an audio drama. Bring on Sigourney. Bring on Michael Biehn for the audio drama. And Hugh Jackman.
And to end it, we have this lovely money shot.
That's a good money shot. I love the Queen like imposing in the thunderstorm coming right at us. Like that, that looks really cool.
I assume this is on the top of the anchor station.
It makes you wonder if maybe the underwater base is that jungle-looking facility.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So maybe the Queen somehow got to the surface.
Or it's all just on the surface. Maybe it's not necessarily underground.
Well, I mean, based on the size of it, the offshore facility, at least the top part of it that was above the water, wouldn't be big enough for that interior setting with all the greenery.
But we're not going to know until more stuff leaks now.
Yeah.
But what do you think, then? Is your heart still aching?
I mean, it'll always be. It'll always be for that. I mean, yeah, maybe I would have had a ton of issues with the movie, but it was something we were pumped for that, you know, we just didn't get. And we got Covenant instead, and I had my issues with Covenant. I'm still glad we got Covenant. There were things I like about that too. But I was hoping we would get both. And I would like to see, because really talented people did put in a lot of work on this project that didn't come to be. So I would like to see all that work eventually. And it looks like we're getting to see more and more. So that's a good thing.
And there's no denying that it's gorgeous art pieces, regardless of what's going off inside it. You know,
some really great art.
The likeness to Sigourney and Michael is fantastic. Some of the money shots of the Queen, the aliens in particular, because I'm pretty sure this Jeffrey did the cool vent piece as well, which I absolutely love.
Oh yeah, that shot of the alien coming through the vent.
Yeah,
that's a nice one.
And it is him, although it looks like I need to update it to the full picture on the gallery. But yeah, I love that one. So definitely, purely speaking from an art point of view, I love this dump. I absolutely love this art dump that we've had over June, and it's been really nice to actually get a bigger picture of perhaps what we did miss with Red Harvest, and the movie archaeologist inside me finds that really interesting. What about you guys and girls out there? How are you feeling? What do you think of some of the art that we've seen this month? Anything that's piqued your interest? What do you feel about the Trematode? Is that a new creature that you're missing? Let us know in the comment section below. If you don't check the website out, go check the website out. All the links are on the bottom. You know, avpgalaxy.net. That's our hub of our activity with other written news and where everything's based from as well. You know,
and you can see all that Alien 5 art in our gallery as well.
Indeed. We do have message boards as well. We're on all the socials, which is also on the bottom of the screen. You can follow us on any of those as well for the news the moment it drops on the website. And of course, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please go and subscribe to the channel. We try and get you plenty of content.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Smash that like button and hit the notification so you know the moment a new video drops.
Yeah, we're not gonna sip that hard, but we do appreciate your support.
Yeah. So if you do enjoy the motion trackers, if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy the editorial pieces, you know, please subscribe to the channel, give us the like buttons, you know, help YouTube algorithm, give us get us more views and all that jazz. But this has been Corporal Hicks
and Ridgetop.
Thank you for watching.